Hello, we are Mike and Matt, M Squared Aerospace, and we'd like to welcome you to 2021 Laythe Odyssey. I'm Mike, and I'll be your pilot today.
I'm Matt, and I'll be your mission commander in today's mission. Recently promoted from first officer. We'll be your crew on today's trip to Laythe.
Alright, so today we're going to be taking you on a somewhat realistic mission to Laythe. Obviously, KSP is a game, and so there's only so far we can go with that, but we've made some rules to try to up the difficulty and the realism.
Alright, Mike, let's go over the rules.
Alright?
First rule, game must be set in the hardest difficulty.
Right, exactly. So we started out with the hard difficulty, and then we kept basically ticking more boxes to make it more realistic. Plasma blackout, part G limits, Kerbal G limits, part aero limits, making sure comms have to be enabled at all stages. Basically, if we could enable it and it was realistic, we did it. Alright, rule number 2. We have to get through this game on one playthrough. Once we start a phase, we have to play through it. We will be saving, but that's just in case there's a Kraken event or if the game crashes or something like that. If we mess up, we have to keep going.
Alright, rule number 3. The crew need to have ample room for the duration of their journey to Laythe.
Rule number 4. This is a manned mission, and so we need to keep the mission time to a minimum. Whenever possible, we will optimize transfer times.
Rule number 5. No mods allowed except for one. MechJeb. It's essential for us to be able to do this mission, and is also accurate since autopilots exist on actual manned spacecraft.
Alright, rule number 6. We're going to try to minimize orbital debris by deorbiting stages of our rocket whenever possible.
Rule number 7. Parts must attach normally. No clipping.
Right, in reality, if a part's designed a certain way, you use it that way, so that's how we're going to approach the game. Rule number 8. We can't pause the game during mission critical times like takeoffs and landings. And finally, rule number 9, we're going to have antennas and solar panels retracted anytime the vehicle is accelerating. In reality, we wouldn't have such delicate parts exposed during these times. Alright, that wraps up the rules. In order to help us adhere to these rules, we went ahead and created a flight manual that our mission commander Matt will be going through during each phase. And that's step-by-step instructions for how to fly each part of this mission. And that's going to help us adhere to the rules and hopefully not mess anything up. Alright, and one final thing I want to mention. This is the third iteration of this mission. We've attempted this twice, and once we were successful and once we weren't. But even the time we were successful, we weren't super happy with the results. So here we are doing this for hopefully a final time. But just an FYI that you will be hearing us allude to previous attempts at this mission that may or may not have gone terribly.
Purpose of this, all the set of videos is really just to out of our own interest do it, but also for us to see and show to everyone else how hard it is to really do a mission in real life. This is a video game, and we're trying to make it as real as possible so that we can see the difficulties of actually doing a manned mission. So due to that, as we go through it, we'll also learn ourselves from any mistakes or issues that come up, and we'll explain them, and hopefully you can experience them with us.
Alright, so without further ado, let's jump into it.
Well, this is phase 1. Welcome. We're going to launch to space. Alright, phase operations. Set ascent guidance 2. Altitude, 665 kilometers.
Okay.
So Mike, why 665 kilometers?
The main reason is that I just get used to that during testing. It allows maximum warp because I don't usually align to the phase angle. So I just like to maximum warp past the 650 kilometers. Also, since our engines are not super powerful for our interplanetary burn, it's kind of a long burn, and the higher your orbit, the less degrees of arc you travel, so it's a more precise burn. And allows us to do it in just one burn instead of multiple burns.
Makes sense. Efficient. Alright. Thank you. Knowledgeable. Inclination, 0 degrees.
Check.
Prevent overheats.
Check.
Limit Q to 20 kPa.
Check.
Limit acceleration to 35 meters per second.
Check.
Force roll climb to 0 degrees and 0 degrees.
Check.
Limit angle of attack to 5 degrees.
Check.
Dynamic pressure at 2500 Pascal.
Check.
Corrective steering gain, 0.6.
Check.
Auto stage. Delay pre, 0 seconds.
Check.
Delay post, 5 seconds.
Check.
Stop at stage 2.
Check.
Skip circularization.
Check.
Edit ascent path. altitude of 2,500 meters. 2500.
Can I get it? I wish it would just let me type this in.
You know, it would be
Okay.
nice. All right, confirm 2500 meters.
Yep.
Speed of 125 meters per second.
Yep.
Auto warp off.
Auto warp off.
All right, getting close here. Verify ship integrity.
Ship is intact.
That's always good.
For the last time.
Hopefully stays intact, at least on the launch pad. Engage ascent guidance.
Ascent guidance is engaged.
Press space to launch.
All right, here we go.
Should I give a countdown?
Sure, why not?
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. And we have liftoff.
Cleared the tower.
Gravity turn 125 meters per second. That's 1,700 meters. Oh, look at that sunrise.
Throttle down for max Q.
Separation of stage 4 at T plus 1 minute 26 seconds.
Apoapsis is above the atmosphere.
Stage 3 separation. T plus 249. Okay, so apoapsis is good. Periapsis is a little high.
All right.
We're 56 kilometers instead of 36.
All right, yeah, it's a little bit different. Game is patched a couple times since we first did this, so
Yeah, we were a little high too on the stage separations.
yeah. All right.
All right, once again, send guidance to engages, set SAS to stability,
Yep.
verify ship integrity. Separation, no explosions.
Yep, just of the other stage
All
after
right.
it had separated. So, yep, all good there.
Close ascent guidance.
Okay.
Maneuver planner.
Yep.
Circularize.
Yep.
All right. Add apoapsis.
Mm-hmm.
Page 2. Auto warp.
Yep.
Tolerance 0.6 meters per second.
Okay.
Lead time 10 seconds.
Check.
Create node.
Created.
Set SAS to maneuver. When SAS is settled, execute node.
All right.
Waiting for settle.
It takes it a minute because this thing's very long.
Waiting. It is quite the long rocket. I hope you're proud of that. Good. So pretty.
Yeah. Should have put more sass on this thing.
Always go with more sass.
But, you know,
Always
realism,
more
you
sass.
can't just throw 90 sass modules on it. And it probably has too much already, honestly.
I mean, in terms of realism, you could have 90 SAS modules on a real spaceship. Who says you can't? I mean, maybe some physics or other
budget
things
committee.
in nature. Yeah, in the reality, it would be more budget than
The
physics.
people who actually want a real payload instead of just more control surfaces.
So why is our payload only 5 pounds? Well, you see,
SAS is important.
we can launch about a.
All right,
Equivalent of a box of
SAS
bananas.
is settled. So
All right. Yeah,
Execute
we're
now.
still, yep. Now we're gonna verify circular orbit. So circularize. Oh, we got some time before we get to the node. Signal strength is strong.
yeah, went out for a second there.
A little concerning.
Yeah, I think it usually does that. I was just worried I didn't have the extra ground stations enabled for a second. All right, so this is a pretty quick burn just to circularize us. Should notice our periaps go to 665 and our eccentricity go down to 0. Fine-tuning it a bit.
0. We
Right
are
on the money.
circular.
All right,
0
check.
means circle. Verify circular orbit. Done.
Verified.
So completes phase 1.
All right.
That's how we do it. All right, we're at phase 2. Objective of this one is to transfer our ComSat to Jool with a little bit less delta V than we expected. Should have been 2300. We're at 2160.
Yeah, but the next stage of the rocket has some excess delta V. So other than this burn with MechJeb being a little less precise than we want, we're fine overall in the mission. Just a little less than ideal.
Got to keep it exciting, Mike.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's where we are.
Got to keep some mystery in it.
Yeah, a little bit of mystery, like less delta V. Yee. Okay. Phase operations.
Okay.
Beginning. In map view, select Jool as target.
I believe it still is from when we did the phase angle warp,
I already
but I
checked
will
it, so-
verify. You can't check it, Mission Commander.
it's
You
already
can't check it
checked.
ahead of time.
It's already checked. I can't uncheck it. I use pen.
It was not the target anyway, so we did need to do that.
All right.
All right. I don't know why I zoomed all the way back in, but all right, it is our target.
Target. All right, maneuver planner. Transfer to another planet.
Transfer to another planet.
Right, at the next transfer window.
Yep.
Auto warp.
Yep.
Tolerance 1 meters per second.
Okay.
Lead time 10 seconds.
Check.
All right. Create node.
Creating node.
Said node is created. Verified transfer burn is under 2,000 meters per second. delta V.
1926.
All right, yep. And less than 20 days away. We're at
13.
13. All right, good. Disable limit Q. We don't need that anymore because there is no atmosphere.
No atmosphere.
Set SAS to maneuver node.
SAS maneuver node.
SAS to maneuver. When SAS has settled, execute next node. Waiting to settle.
We have to use this process because if we just say to create and execute the node, it takes MechJeb a lot longer to align itself than the onboard SAS does. So that's why we do this, just to help speed things along a little bit.
That makes sense. Well, while we're waiting, why a 10-day lead time, Mike?
So it's not so far out that this thing's just parked in orbit for forever, but it's enough time that if something went wrong, you could maybe launch a substitute rocket, or you could repair this rocket. It definitely gives you time to, check things over, make sure there was no damage or anything. It's a game, so we just hit F3, make sure it doesn't tell us there's anything wrong, and if we got a clean bill of health there, we're all good.
I mean, in reality, they would have some sort of system that would look for faults anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Kerbals aren't that dumb.
So it's just time to deal with any problems that came up. 10 days in the grand scheme of things here is not much. So, or 13 days in our case.
Is that unlucky? Do you think 13's unlucky?
I don't think so. I think we'll be fine.
All right.
Famous last words.
Is that what they said in Apollo 13?
Oh,
That's
no.
That's going to be a running theme.
No.
So I would be Jim Lovell.
Should I just rename this to Apollo 13? Our ComSat to Apollo 13?
Does it have oxygen tanks on it? No, right? So we should be
it's
okay.
got liquid oxygen.
It does have liquid oxygen, yeah.
Fuel.
Oh, boy. We don't need a main bus B undervolt. Watch that movie.
Yeah. We know, Matt. You're cool. You watched Apollo 13. What's the next thing on the checklist?
I'm so cool. I can say stuff. After burn completes, verify Jool encounter. So we just got to execute.
I think you might have missed a step there, Matt.
Well, and when SAS is settled, you execute the next node.
Execute next node. Maybe you said it, maybe you didn't, but I obviously didn't pick it up, Matt.
I know. But
that's
not a next step. Step 7 was, and when SAS is settled, execute next node. So
then you got to tell me again, because I hear the first part of that and I focus on that, and then I expect to be told again. Come on, Matt, you understand this.
Fair enough, but as mission commander, I am supposed to be able to put all the blame on you for missing steps.
As mission commander, you are my space wife, and you need to nag me into doing what I need to do. Come on, Matt.
I'm your space wife? That's not good. This is going to be a tiny capsule that we're going to be in for this Kerbal space. Actually, no. That's right. You actually made space.
There's space. Everyone gets their own compartment later.
As your space wife, I'm definitely getting my own fucking compartment.
When we get to the manned portion of this mission, there are enough compartments for everyone to just do their own thing and be apart from everybody else.
All right, that's fair.
But for right now, we're just launching the ComSat, so we have a communications network, so that way those things are controllable later, and that our people can talk back home and stuff.
Yeah, that seems fair.
So that way they can do their own version of Houston, we have a problem, which will, of course, inevitably occur.
Oh yeah. And it'll be the space wife saying it.
Of course, yeah. So we just got a quick burn here. I didn't think to check how long it was. It was like a minute and change, because this is all just comms equipment. We didn't have to super over-engineer this.
Yeah,
so
there's no lives involved.
The transfer stage is actually quite adequately powered in terms of thrust-to-weight ratio of the ship.
Keep that thrust ratio.
In fact, let's see what it is. Oh, it was actually right there on the 2 and change, approaching 3. So a lot better than the 1 and change we're going to have later on the manned portions.
Yeah, well, we care about the Kerbals and their lives.
It also helps that none of this equipment has to come back. This is a one-way trip for all parts of this rocket, so
it's just going to be space junk floating in space for
pretty much. Well, I mean, it'll be useful for a while. Like, there's nothing saying the satellites can't continue to function for a while.
That's true. And I mean, not eternity. I guess eventually, orbit will degrade and it'll crash back into the planet.
All right, burn is over.
After burn completes, verify Jool encounter in map view. Step 8.
For a number of times I've played this, I really need to learn how to zoom out faster. Jool encounter. Yep.
We got the Jool encounter, folks. All right, verify no dangerous encounters with Moon or Minmus.
Nothing that the map view is showing.
That is amazing. I remember last time that being a fucking problem.
Uh-huh.
All right. We all remember that.
We do.
Well, between the two of us.
Maybe I'll make an outtakes video and we'll show that
yeah.
heartbreak as we saw that.
Coming up next, outtakes.
We're gonna kind of run into Minmus a little bit. Like, oh no, we're not. It's just going to affect our orbit in some terrible way.
Oh, it fucked everything up. Okay.
Our
All
correction burn is now 3,000 delta V. Yeah, we can't do that. All right. Anyway, moving on. Moving on.
Scrub it. All right. Note remaining stage delta V.
233.
All right, 233. I'm going to write it down because
All
I
right.
said to note it.
Yep.
Then shut down stage 2 engines.
All right. Getting out of map view. And again, something I should have hotkeyed, but why make things easy for yourself when you can make things as difficult as possible?
Well, you're making things difficult for yourself because you're the pilot.
Yep. All right. All 5 engines have been shut down.
Excellent. Warp out of Kerbin SOI. Make sure to slow for any encounters with the moons. We don't have to worry this time. That's in there because last time we had to worry.
Yeah, sometimes
we did not worry as much as we should have.
Yep. All right. So I'm just going to take her out by hand.
Lessons learned, folks. Corporate term. Fucking corporate term.
So just nice and easy. We're just going to
there goes moon.
breeze our way out of here.
And there's Minmus. Minmus is the outside one, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Things we should know.
We should know. Well, you should know better than me. I'm just mission commander. I'm just here for show.
Yeah, you're management. You don't actually do anything.
I make more money than you. I blame everything on you, and I just read off the checklist because I don't know anything. Management.
All right, coming up here in 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute.
And we are out of the
All right,
Kerbin
we are out
SOI,
of
folks.
the sphere of influence.
Sphere of
Kerbin.
influence.
We have escaped its gravity officially.
Yep, we are now floating into space. It's beautiful.
Yep, we're just out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, look at the sun. Sol.
I don't think that's what it's called. I think it's called. Oh, there was some debate about whether it was called Kerbal.
I thought it was called Sol. SOL, right? We gotta look this up. We'll
No,
verify
I think sometimes they call it sun, and sometimes there's like one reference to it being called Kerbal.
Oh, Kerbal, like a
Kerbal.
ball. All right.
No, like BOL, but pronounced it. I don't know.
All right. Well, as
Whatever.
mission commander, I'll
unimportant.
look into this after during phase 2 and 3. Hello. Welcome back.
Matt, this might be just in the middle of a clip, like you're welcoming back from nothing.
Welcoming back from phase 2 to phase 3.
Just because we take a break doesn't mean the audience has.
All right, we're doing the pre-phase checklist. We already did that actually, so we're good.
Yep. So we're gonna go ahead and resume flight.
And for what this phase is, by the way, it's our fine tune for the Jool encounter, for the ComSat. So Mike, can you explain why are we fine tuning?
Well, so when we did our first, maneuver to transfer to Jool, it was at Kerbin, which is very far away. So now we need to warp forward part of the way on our trajectory and do a more precise burn, once we're there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So just saving some delta V.
Yep.
Always good to hear, especially as mission commander. Phase operations.
Yep.
Maneuver planner.
All right.
Fine tune closest approach to target.
Fine tune closest approach. Okay.
All right. Final periapsis. 2,000 kilometers.
All right.
Out of warp. Engage.
Check.
Tolerance 0.3 meters per second.
Check.
45 seconds for lead time.
Check.
Create node.
Creating node.
Verify remaining delta V is enough for burn. We were at 233 before.
Yep.
We're at 113. Verified.
Okay.
Set SAS to maneuver.
SAS to maneuver.
All right. When SAS is settled, we're going to execute the node.
And you'll need to remind me of that in 12 seconds because I will forget.
About SAS settling? And
I
executing node?
I will pay attention to when SAS is settled, and
Yes.
then once that's done, you need to tell me what we're doing.
Right. This is kind of like a two-part step here. So
Yes,
we
I
are
apologize. It's too complex for one step. I apologize.
It's too complex for the mission commander. That's the problem.
Yeah, I forgot to dumb this down to like a 3rd grade reading level.
Oh, I get 3rd grade.
Yeah,
I would say
I'm
first.
feeling generous today.
Yeah, I would say first.
All right,
grade,
SAS
but-
is settled.
All right, SAS is settled. Execute the node.
Okay, executing the node, and that's basically just an enormous time warp forward.
Yep, so once the time warp ends, we're going to activate the stage 2 engines.
All right, we're coming out of warp, coming up
Alright.
on our maneuver node. So go ahead and prep me on what our next steps are.
Alright, so once time warp ends, we're going to activate the stage 2 engines.
Alrighty, I will get
And then
my
we gotta
camera positioned
verify
to do that.
an encounter in map view, and we're looking for around 2,000 kilometers.
Alright, time
Doesn't
warp.
need to be exact. It's a little so-so.
Time warp is done, so let's go ahead and get these engines back on. That's why we afforded the 45 seconds of lead time, was just to give me enough time for this engine to shake its head, either yes or no, depending on how you're looking at it.
I would say it's a yes.
How about now?
Well, you know, when you change the fucking camera angle like that, I'm more of a yes person, not a no person.
That's why you're in charge.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I got to management, man. You gotta just say yes.
The yes men are in charge. The no
yes-
men.
It's a good balance.
are
Yes,
at the
men are in
controls.
management. The men who are at the controls say no a lot.
Did we just make a really like philosophical?
I think so. That was like really fucking deep.
Yeah.
That was really deep.
All right. Just a quick burn.
Okay, after burn, we're gonna verify encounter in map view.
Okay.
Looking for 2,000 kilometers or so.
Zoom, 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 zoom out.
Zoom, zoom.
Yeah,
We're not too bad.
about 2,500
2450.
kilometers. Because now that's only 6 digits, I can convert
Yeah,
to
like
kilometers
now
in my
your
head.
brain's able. So after you go beyond 6 digits, you're just like you can't convert.
I'm done.
Everything.
I'm done after that. I just
Decimals,
can't handle
points
it.
Can't move anymore.
I just see a blur of numbers, and it's just like, well, can't do anything with that.
It's a billion or something. Trillion. All right. After burn, we verified we're at 2450. Engage SAS.
Okay. SAS is engaged.
All right. Deactivate the stage 2 engines.
Alrighty. Deactivating the engines is always annoying, but technically it's what they would do for longer trips. To kind of put them into a hibernate standby mode.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So-
Makes sense.
We're going for realism, so we're doing it.
That's how it's supposed to be. Because we're real. All about the realism. Time warp to SOI transition with a lead time of 7 days.
SOI transition, lead time 7D.
7D.
No quick warp
7
enabled.
Delta. Manually warp forward to about
Oh,
5
alright.
minutes.
So we're going to do that warp. And we'll see you on the other side. All right, we're coming out of our warp now. 7-day lead time. We're doing a 7-day lead time just because one time MechJeb just completely went nuts and blew right through the SOI, and we crashed into Jool and blew up. So now we have a 7-day lead time to try to avoid that problem.
Yeah, MechJeb fucking up and then it ending in us exploding has never happened, Mike. Ever. So I don't know what you're
right.
talking about.
Yeah, no, of course not. Not on this run. Not on this run.
This run was fine. This was other
So
runs.
far.
Other runs don't count. This is only. This is for real, and we're doing good. We're not
So,
going to kill anybody. Anyways.
Instead of trusting MechJeb, which has only screwed up one time, instead we trust me to do this by hand when I screw this up like 50% of the time.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I feel like I trust you. As mission commander.
It's not about trust, it's about capabilities.
Hey, it's not all about computers, okay? There's people too, all right? Humans. Biology. All right, so anyways, we're going to be manually
27 seconds until SOI encounter, so I'd
Alright.
say let's go ahead and...
so we can manually warp.
Alright, so what's the next thing?
Manually warping forward to about 5 minutes before SOI transition.
Okay, we are 15 seconds out.
Okay.
So that's the end of this phase.
Yes, that is the end of this phase.
Alright,